Hello everyone, this is a video on cofunction. Cofunction is 90. When you have sine 90, cos 90 and not tan, it's sine and cos. These two, sine and cos and 90, they are related. What happens? When you have the 90, the sine will change to be a cos and the cos will change to be a sine. So let's look at this first one. When you have sine 90 minus is the first quadrant. How is sine in the first quadrant? Is positive. So because of the 90, it's going to change to cos theta, right? The next one, cos 90 minus theta. 90 minus first quadrant. How is cos in the first quadrant? Positive. But because of the 90, it's going to change to sine theta. Sine 90 plus theta. 90 plus is the second quadrant. How is sine in the second quadrant? Sine is positive, but because of the 90, it's going to change to cos theta. And then the last one, 90 plus theta is the second quadrant. How is cos in the second quadrant? Negative. But when you write it, you don't write cos. Because of the 90, you write sine theta. So these are the core functions. I'm going to look at examples on how do you use the cofunctions. Okay, here I'm going to give you a rule that we're going to use. Cos 60 is equals to sine 30. What is important here is that these angle, that angle, and that angle, they must add up to 90. You remember the core function has to do with 90. So if that angle and that angle, they add up to 90, and one is cos and the other one is sine, therefore those two trig ratios will be equal. So I want us to test, because these are special angles we can test with our calculator. I want you to pause the video and punch in cos 60 and then punch in cos 90. You will see they are both equal. Right, cos 60 is equals to 1 over 2 is equals to sine 90, sine 30 is also equals to 1 over 2. So this rule that we have here is correct. You have cos and sine and the angles add up to 90. Then those two ratios are equal. So here's an example here. If you have cos 9 will be equals to sine 81. When I add 9 and 81, I get 90. So if one is cos, one is sine, and the angles add up to 90, then those two ratios are equal. We're going to use this information in an example. Now, we have an example here. Sine 330 plus cos 250 divided by sine 120. And then the instruction says simplify. So what you're going to do, the first thing, you're going to reduce this by using reduction formula. Okay? If you haven't seen our video on reduction formula, please go and watch that. It makes the reduction very easy. So the first thing that you do here, you look at the angle. 330 is in which quadrant? Is in fourth quadrant. How is sine in fourth quadrant? It's negative. Then you write negative, then you write the ratio, sine. And then you take your calculator, you say 360 minus 330. And then you get that. Sine 330 is the same as negative sine 30, right? Now we're going to reduce these two. Right, cos 250. 250 is in which quadrant? Third quadrant. How is sine in the third quadrant? Negative. So I'm going to have a bracket, negative cos. Then I go 250 minus 180. Then it gives me 70 degrees. Then divided by sine 160. 160 is in the second quadrant. How is sine in the second quadrant? It's positive. So I write the ratio, sine, then I go 180 minus 160. It's 20 degrees, right? Now, with this angle, it's a special angle. When you get a special angle, you punch it in your calculator and get an answer. So it will be negative sine 30, it's 1 over 2, right? When you get here, negative times positive, it will be negative. Now here's the core ratio thing. Cos 70 and sine 20. 70, 20 add up to 90 cos sine. So it means these two ratios are exactly the same. So they're going to cancel out. Then you're going to end up with a 1. So then you have negative half minus 1. You have negative 3 over 2, which is the same as 1, negative 1 and a half. So you don't have to put it here, even if when it's there, it's correct. Okay. This is how you really need to memorize the core functions. You always get them in your cheat question. And if you've memorized them, they make your work much easier. This is the end of our lesson. Thank you for watching.